Assalamu alaikum warahmatullah. So it's that time of week again. It's our usual Friday night live. So it's going to be something a little bit different this week. So we're going to do a live stream, but we're going to be doing a live stream featuring friends who want to come up and join us. Come on, here, budge out of the way, boy. Let's find the link. How do I get the link now? I've forgotten how to get the link. Oh, there we go. Copy the link. And there's the link for anyone who wants to come up and join. So anyone who wants to come up and say hello, I've just posted the link in the chat. So you can come up and join us for a little chat up here. So Graham, how are you doing, man? Thanks very much for coming in. Thank you.
Hello.
How are you feeling? Karen, how are you doing? So yeah, we're doing things a little bit different today. So if anyone wants to join me up on stage, it's open mic night. So if you want to come up, yeah, I've posted the link. Just click on that link and come up and say hello. So what's everyone been up to? How is everyone? Yeah. There's some people saying hello to you. So I've had an absolutely hectic day today. It's working. You just need to type what you want to type. So I've just got in from I've just got in from a couple of hours of non-stop leafleting. So it's been 2 hours of leafleting around Gipton. So about 9,000 steps done, and that's a lot for me in a while. First time in ages. And then I went wood collecting before that. So we've got Karen, how are you doing? Graham's wood, but he's not 100%. How are you feeling at the minute, man? So Graham's not been well. He's been really poorly over the Christmas period, and he's struggling a little bit. So I hope you're on the mend. Rob, how are you doing? Thanks very much for coming in. Andrew Fishman, now there's a guy I haven't seen for a long time. Hope everything's good with you. Now, wait, stop it. You should stop shifting things about. Someone who has been here from the beginning of my YouTube journey. So Andrew, I hope life's treating you well and joining us from Australia. Hope everything's good with you. Yeah, I'm all right. A little bit tired today. So I went to pick the kids up because they were at my sister's house, and on my way there I spotted a house with a load of trees or shrub. You know, it wasn't shrubs. It wasn't trees either. It was what do you call it? What are those plants with the really waxy leaves, big waxy leaves, evergreen, hardwood.
Baba?
The name's just gone completely out of my mind. But anyway, they had a load of them chopped down
Baba,
in the garden.
I'm
Yes,
typing how you're feeling.
Okay, you're typing things in. Okay, you keep typing. So yeah, they had loads of those chopped down in the garden, and so I knocked on the door. First time I knocked, a little kid answered and said the parents not in. So I came home, had a quick bite to eat, hooked up the trailer, and then I got the chainsaw and went back and chanced it and said, knocked on the door. This time the mum was in, and I said, look, do you want me to clear some of that mess for you? I'll clear a load of wood out your garden. If you're going to throw it. Yeah, it was Laurel. That's the one, Laurel. So I'll clear a load of that out your garden if you want rid of it. And she was like, oh yeah, that'll be awesome. So I came back with a trailer load and a bootload of quite chunky. So biggest one was probably about 10 inches. Quite a few chunks of that, and then a load of branches as well. So that'll be good for next year. But yeah, it was pretty good.
Baba,
Wa alaikum assalam. Yeah, you should always say wa alaikum assalam back. So Toss Stones is joining us from New Zealand. Rob, we've got people from the other side of the world coming in. Tanvir, walaikum assalam wa rahmatullah. Derek, how are you doing? Hope everything's good with you. I do between 6 to 8k steps a day. I have a smartwatch thing delivering.
How do you do
There. Okay. So yeah, I normally do probably about 5 or 6k a day if on a when I'm just going to work because I'm sat down all day. And then on a weekend I get in probably about 8 or 9 when I'm in the garden. But today I think I've hit let me see what I've hit. Oops, what are you doing? I've hit 16,800 steps today. So I'd already done a load of steps when I was out collecting all that wood, and then just out leafleting now. I did 2 hours solid walking, not working. 2 hours solid walking, and that's giving me another 9,000 steps. So that's a lot, man. So Grow Shake Phil joining us from Iowa. How are you doing? I hope everything's good with you. So if anyone does want to come up, here's the link. Hang on, wait, stop. So if anyone does want to come up, here's the link again. You can come up and join me live and get involved with this conversation, and you can take over the show, and I can retire. What are you trying to do?
Okay.
Yeah. So Phil saying hello to you as well. So what's everyone been up to?
Yeah.
How's life treating everyone? What's going on in the world of your little world? I will next week, but we're not looking pretty at the moment. Laid in bed. Graham, you rest up after what you've been going through. You just rest up, man. I'm glad you're here. Really, really sorry to hear about what's been going on. So our friend Graham's not been in the best of health recently, so everyone just keep him in your thoughts, and let's get him. Hopefully he'll get better soon. That's like 10 below miles. So yeah, I managed to. I got a good chunk of steps in today. I haven't done that sort of walking since last May.
No one type.
Okay, go on.
I'm typing right now. I said no one type.
You just do your typing. Don't worry about anyone else. Let everyone else type. You carry on typing at the same time. So getting onions and leeks planted from seed this weekend. So I told you about my little disaster with my chili seeds last week. So I'm still
Papa.
Yes, buddy. And don't worry about other people. You just do your thing. So
that's confusing me on which one's mine and which one's not.
Who are you trying to respond to? Graham.
He said, "Are you the boss?"
So
Yeah.
Gurpreet, I was just actually going to say that. So the seeds that went into the fire are completely gone. But I'm just hoping that someone will get back to me saying, yes, I remember the seeds that you gave us last year, and here are some seeds. So I'm still waiting on that shout out. But my seeds are gone, and we're still looking in the house, seeing if we can find some. There's one naga plant in my office, and it's got one naga on it that's really ripe. It's a decent size as well. It's not the best plant, and it's not the best naga, but it's something, and I'll probably get about 20 seeds out of that. It's ideally, really, it's not one that I would save seeds from, but I think that's where I will end up to, saving seeds from that naga plant. So things aren't great, but it's not all bad. We've got he's okay. Yeah. So okay. So Phil, did I say fire? Yeah. So what happened was my mum put. What are you hitting me for?
I was about to type it.
Will you type? You type. Don't worry about me. So my mum put all my naga seeds and chili seeds next to the fire to get them ready for planting, and I don't know how, but I came along and found a load of paper and tissues and stuff next to the fire. So I thought, okay, I'll just chuck all that into the fire, and away have gone my seeds. So my chili. So Graham, it's my chili seeds, man. It's the naga seeds that I was. Did I give you any by any chance when you came up? So it's the naga seeds that I've been growing. So it's those ones in specific that I'm looking for, because they were the ones that I've been sort of breeding for the last 2 or 3, 4 years. So I just want them back. If someone can save the day. Rob, Graham, I know Graham already says he's not feeling too good. But Rob, Phil, if anyone wants to come up on live onto the screen, I've put the link in a couple of times. All you need is StreamYard. It's a free software. Just download it and join in. So if you want to join me live and come up here and get in on the conversation, we can do that. It'll be quite fun, I think. Walaikum salam wa rahmatullah. I'm not going to say that, otherwise my little one's going to just start laughing his head off. Oh, excuse me. I'd love to, but wife is here. Are you able to import seeds? I am. Depends on where from. So yeah, depends on where from. I mean, people can send seeds over. The last time we do.
No one type.
Let people.
No
type.
one type.
Get your finger out your mouth.
No one type. No one type. I want this to be perfect so I don't get distracted. No one type.
Concentrate on what you're typing. Don't keep putting your finger in your mouth. You're not a baby. I had some naga pickle the other day. Was it good? Was it good? It'll wait. That pickle will wake you up. Yeah, it'll definitely wake you up. No, don't keep putting your fingers in your mouth. Okay. So it looks like so it looks like I'm gonna get a video film tomorrow morning, and that'll be the first video in a while. And I'll hopefully get back into making videos again. I know we've had some time off. I'm just mad busy at the minute, and plus, my wife's not been in the best of health either, which is hard. It's always hard when that happens, and just everything's just so busy. but hopefully we'll get a video film this tomorrow, and we'll get one out and get it ready for Sunday.
Oops.
So now I only add it to a curry. Do you know what I do like? So do you know if you like cheeseburgers, right? Add it to a cheeseburger. Don't add loads. Don't go mental with it. Just a tiny little bit. Just spread it across the top of the cheeseburger, and then add a bit of ketchup on it. And that is awesome. You know that. Yeah, that's got a real kick to it, and it's really tasty.
Yeah.
The one that I was gonna, or the one that I'm thinking of doing, or what we want to bring out soon is like a Naga ketchup. That'll be good when it comes out.
Papa, I
Yeah,
don't know what else to type.
You don't have to type anything. You can just sit here and join the conversation. No?
What are you even talking about?
Or you can. Well, what am I even talking about? I'm talking about seeds. I'm talking about you. I was talking about collecting wood. I'm talking about my legs hurting. Yeah.
Now you make me laugh my head off.
So, 2 invitations from 2 lives tonight would only come on here though. Got some. Don't put your finger in your nose. You're live on TV. You don't. You're gonna be rude, then you're gonna be going. Yeah. So got some cardamoms as well. If you want some, I'll send a list later. As
Where's your TikTok live?
We're not doing TikTok live tonight because I was hoping that someone would come on live and have a chat with me on YouTube, but so far no one's taken me up on my offer.
Ask Dean.
Dean hasn't been on for ages. It'd been good for Dean to come on. So, can you make an Encona copycat? I love that sauce. I don't know about copycat. We'll do something, but it won't. It'll be more of a Naga sauce. Yeah, I think he needs to go. Don't you? Do you need to go?
Okay.
What are cardoons? So I've been hacking wood for the last week. I got from a neighbour who felled 2 trees and gave me the wood for free because I helped clear his garden up. Oh, yeah, your back will be loving. Yeah, your back will definitely be loving that. So is it okay to type now? Thanks, Sarah, for coming in. See, I like Encona. My mum likes Encona. But the only thing about it is it's very salty. Because Encona's got a good variety of sauces now. Because they used to just have the hot pepper sauce, but now they've got a good variety of them. We're gonna do something. We're gonna do something with the sauces, not just the pickles. So it's been fun chopping wood, and then I've turned into a bit of a fiend. Do you know, like I was in Chesterfield a couple of weeks back, and they had this massive beech tree must have collapsed because of the wind. And honestly, do you know, the trunk was like that, and I wasn't dressed for it, and I didn't have my chainsaw. Otherwise, I'd have been like, "Yes, let's go and have a bit of that." But yeah. So cardoons, they grow like globe artichoke and look similar as well. I've got some Jerusalem. I've got Jerusalem artichokes. I've got loads of Jerusalem artichokes. Cardoons are new to me. Taste like celery is what they say. I'm gonna have to have a go. Google this and see what it's all about. Cardum. There we go. Okay, it looks very much like a globe artichoke, doesn't it?
Nothing. It's nothing.
Yeah, it looks very much like a globe artichoke. Same family, I'd guess. Artichokes with edible stems. Okay, there we go. Cardamom smell fantastic. I was going to say the climate in Britain's not going to be the best for growing cardamoms. do you make who makes tea with cardamom in it? Do you know if you make tea, yeah, boil cardamoms, cinnamon, bay leaves. Just boil that for a good while, and probably about a third to be water. Boil it in a saucepan with about a third of it water. Once that's boiled and all the flavors come out of it, add your tea bags. Once that's boiled, chuck in 2/3 milk, and then you've got a nice cup of tea. You know, proper thick tea. Yes, best tea, absolutely. It's got, you've got to proper cook the tea. Yeah, you've got to proper cook the tea for at least half an hour before you can have a nice cup of tea. But that tea is going to be the best tea you'll ever have. That's proper chai. If you put caramel holes in your bin, it won't stink so quickly. Don't forget 15 spoons of sugar. See, we've stopped using sugar. We use that stevia sort of sweetener now. It's not the what's it called? It's not the aspartame one. It's the green packet. That's pretty good. So, and it's really sweet as well. See, Rob, you want this kind of tea? Do what I'm saying. You make your tea in a saucepan. 1/3 water, cardamoms, cinnamon, bay leaves. Cook that, and then chuck in some tea bags once it starts boiling, and then let that cook for a while, and then chuck in the rest milk. 2/3 milk. Make it nice and thick. Boil it up. Let it cool down. Boil it up again a couple of times, and that'll turn into a really nice thick tea. Absolutely delicious.
Want to go for a little rest and I'm back now?
You went for a little rest and you're back now. See. Oh, come on, people. There's no one going to come up to join me. I thought someone's going to come up and say at least hello for a bit. It's supposed to be my family, garden and friends, and so far it's just me and Zaki.
Egg.
What are you doing?
Nothing.
Nothing. It looks like you're doing something, buddy. So what's everyone's plans for the weekend this week? Do you know what you all planning on doing this week for your garden? I'm looking for some place
that... What can I do?
Stop it.
No, but eat your Mama, Dad,
stop that. So, I'm looking for some place I can buy masala chai that's not Amazon. Where are you based?
Spider-Man.
There's some masala chai that you can buy in packets at the moment. Regal are doing some really good ones.
It's gonna take ages for me.
Yeah, Regal have come out with some really good ones. I normally buy some
How do you
packets
spell
like
spider?
Okay, so hi from Florida. How's the weather there? The weather has been miserable. It's been cold. It's been wet. Really, really pouring down with rain, and we even had a thunderstorm yesterday. And a little mini hurricane thing ripping across Manchester. Was it a tornado? Yeah, tornado thing that ripped across Manchester and damaged a few roofs. That's extreme weather for us. It's not like the American type of real hurricanes and real tornadoes. Ours was just a little twirly-whirly thing that damaged a few roof tiles and maybe ripped a roof off one house. But it's extreme for us.
Spider-Man.
So Phil's gonna come up in a bit. All right. So, he's from Swansea. Okay. So I don't know Swansea and what it's like with the variety, but Regal are doing some. Do you know, if you look for Regal chai mixers, they're doing some really good mixers at the moment. Really,
Spider-Man.
yeah, really. I normally buy them for the office, so I buy a box, and yeah, just take them to the office with me. And then you don't have to worry about milk, and you don't have to worry about other stuff.
How do you spell flying?
How do you spell what?
I just want to do something confusing.
You're gonna do something confusing. Oh, you hurt my
I'm
leg.
confused.
You hurt my leg now, buddy. Oof.
Spider-Man. I'm gonna say Spider-Man frying pan.
You keep.
I'm gonna confuse everyone. Flying. Finally now.
Okay. Yeah, we have major hurricanes here in Florida. Yeah, I've seen them on the TV. Bobby, when did you get in? Hope you're keeping well, man. In the garden, I'm planning on taking down the 8-foot long Taunton Dean and taking cuttings of Eryngium.
Spider-Man frying pan.
What's Eryngium?
But what happened to that?
What happened to what?
That.
I don't know. It'll be all right. It'll come on. The weather is still beautiful.
Guys, something's wrong.
No, it's not wrong. It'll come on when someone else types something. Yours will move up. The weather is still beautiful here. I have a huge cabbage growing right. Oh my god! See, the weather's miserable. It's soaking wet. There's so much water everywhere.
Papa, can you say did I confuse everyone?
So fingers crossed, Rob mate had a bad scare. To be honest, just waiting to hear what. Yeah, I hope the answers come back soon. Good. So
how do you spell confused? How do you spell confused?
So there's some land in Gipton that I've been trying to get hold of.
Everyone. I can do this.
Emailing the council. Do you know, we wanted to try and set up some allotments there, or we wanted to try and set up a community garden. So this land has been left, you know, derelict for years and years and years.
But I can't do it.
For the best part of a year now, I've been contacting them saying, look, there's derelict land. I want to use it. I want to use it for growing food on it. And there's been no announcements. There's been no sort of planning permission or anything like that. There's been no announcements of the land going up for sale. But all of a sudden, last week, we see bulldozers moving, Harris fencing being put up, and they're building on it. They're going to start building on it very soon. So before we had a chance to, object to any new developments in the area, because the area is it's a council area. It needs a lot of work to it, but they're just eating up the last bit of green space that's there. So we were just trying to capture those little bits of green space. I mean, they were left derelict for anyway, so we were trying to capture that and turn it into we were trying to turn it into some community gardens and allotments and places to grow food. And now the council have just sort of, they've somehow, either they're building on it themselves or they've sold it without telling people that they're selling it. So I'm really disappointed about that, because I thought, yes, we've got a chance. And it's not just one area that they've done it to. Pretty much every big patch of land that was available still in Gipton, they're building on it, and it's just absolutely horrible. Have you heard of guerrilla gardening? Yeah, I have heard of guerrilla gardening. So yeah, there's a few places in Leeds where I've stuck a few cherry trees and I've stuck a few apple trees randomly, just pop them in into random places. Yeah, just planted them anywhere. See, Bobby, it would have been awesome to try and get a community garden going in Gipton, because you know what Gipton's like. It's lush. It's green. There's green areas, but it's poor. It needs that engagement. It would have loved that. Community involvement. They would have loved it. So it's absolutely shocking that any big patch of land there, they've just started building on. But I've been trying to campaign for the last couple of years to try and get that bit of land. I've sent emails, I've sent letters, I've sent emails to the council, saying, look, we want this land for the community. Recently, I got in contact with Incredible Edibles, and we started putting a bit of pressure on, and now it's gone and they're building on it. Can you pull that door shut?
I remember this teddy. I remember this koala.
Koala, there's some Australians here and there's some New Zealanders.
I remember this one. Yeah, I remember this.
You used to be scared of it.
After I kept turning the lights off and on, and the eyes were glowing in the dark. That's what made me scared.
See, my brother in Middleton, Manchester, lost a few roof tiles. Called him again. He said, "No worry, got two lads will be round in the morning." But you see, Derek, for us, it's extreme weather. That it's just absolutely mental for us. Bobby, that had been awesome. Want to do something. Want to try and get some kind of project going, because like a community garden, a community farm, something. There's lots of little patches of land. The bit of land that I was talking about was about 2 acres, and it would have been awesome just to get that, because it would have just got community engagement involved. They've announced a nice bit of project work happening in, the old Fernville Community Centre. So that's going to be redone and rebuilt. But while they're rebuilding that, they've swiped pretty much all the empty land in Gipton. And it's one of the most congested areas anyway, even though it's quite spread out. It's a really congested area. So they've just taken all the little bits of green land that's left over, and they're starting to stick houses on it. Okay, fine, we need houses, but we also need a bit of green space in every area. So we have that many empty plots on our site, no point in a communal garden. Do you mean on your allotment site? Because the waiting lists here are massive, to try and get an allotment here, you're waiting probably I think the waiting list's about 10 years for one. I put down for the plot next to me as well now at 35 square meters. Then that part of Incredible Edibles, bro, should be giving me a shout. See, Graham, Incredible Edibles, they'd help us. They're really useful, to help. But it's what do you call it? That's the problem. It's the council. The company that is building the houses will have had planning permission on it since Nelson had. Yeah, they would have. I don't know if it's been sold, because I check council property for sale regularly and council land for sale regularly. So I don't know if it's just the council that's building council houses on it. I don't know if that's the way they're going, or if it's a private developer. But I've never seen that bit. Those bits of land have. I've never seen those bits of land come up as a debate for planning permission. Well, not in the last 20 years that I've lived here. But yeah, we've been emailing and contacting people. I think it was on one of my newsletters last year. One of my leaflets last year that I said, this is what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to capture some of this green space for growing, and setting up community gardens. And they've just gone ahead and swiped it. So Sarah, he used to be scared of that koala. When he was little, he used to just, every time you showed him that koala, he'd start crying for some reason. Ali, assalamu alaikum. Thanks very much for coming in. Hope you're keeping well. Hope life's treating you good. So, there's a few little bits left that we might go chasing. Moz, how are you doing, big man? I hope you're keeping well. Thanks very much for coming in. Moz, it's supposed to be open mic night tonight, so if anyone wants to come up live, I'm going to share the link one more time. So if anyone does want to come up, you're more than welcome to come up and get chatting with me up here. Yeah, so there's the link again. So if anyone does want to come up, click on that link and you can come up here and have a chat. Does anyone know where I can get sugar beet seeds? You're going to try and make your own sugar? Okay. Ali, where are you from? Hey, we've got a guest coming up. We've got someone coming up to say hello. So let's bring him up. Phil.
Hey, Milton, how are you?
I'm all right. So we've got Phil joining us over from Iowa. I hope you're keeping well. So it's nice to speak to you face to face.
I know we've never actually talked together. This is exciting.
So this is we used to do this quite a lot last year or the year before. Bring people up and have a good natter. So yeah,
I love that phrase. I learned so many of these little British quips from you. I have a little nutter. I'm going to use that. That's...
So what have you been up to? It looks nice and sunny outside.
Well, it is. It's middle of the day. It's 2:40 in the afternoon. So, I've been winding down the workday a little bit early today. I work from home, so
yeah.
I'm going to get out and turn a compost pile, and I got a load of leaves that I got from my city that I'm going to try to create a new batch of leaf mold. And other than that, we have 25 chickens back there. So I'm going to do my best to add some to that as well. You know, it's a nice little group of hens, and give them something to play around with. One thing I had a question from you on is sort of creating, you know, in your chicken space. We have a little bit of a chicken run that goes around their little hut, their little chicken house coop. And what do you do? You know, what's your general strategy around creating compost that way? The reason I ask is it's such a large area, and it's so, you know, I'm always throwing in debris and food scraps. I know you can't do that there, but you know, just what's your strategy for collecting that stuff, I guess?
For collecting stuff is the one that I try and maximize on is, you know, my neighbors. So there's a couple of neighbors, anytime they trim the hedges or they do any sort of grass clipping, you know, mow the lawn, all that, they just bag it up and drop it off at, you know, at the top of my drive. Or they'll tell me, look, I've got a wheelie bin full of yard clippings, do you want them? So that's the immediate source. And then the other source is like, if I can get hold of a tree surgeon, there's a couple of tree surgeons that sometimes ring me up and say that they've got wood chips that they need to get rid of, or they've got logs or something. So I just open my drive up and say, okay, just tip your whole van onto my drive. And if they do that, then fantastic. The other thing is I've got lots of, I haven't got lots of grass, but I've got a little bit of grass. So that's one bit of my own. But I've got lots of hedging. So we've got a plant called privet that does the hedges all the way around the garden. And that is a massive source of, you know, material for composting and throwing on the chicken run. And then plus any sort of plants that I pull out of the garden. So especially weeds. I get a lot of couch grass. We get dandelions. So if I get anything like that, that goes straight into the chicken run.
You know, whenever you mention privet, I think of Harry Potter. He lived on Privet Drive. You familiar with that? I don't know. That's my only frame of reference for privet when you mention that. So I always think of Harry Potter. So yeah,
the kids love Harry Potter, but right. I found Harry Potter and his little group quite annoying. So,
but you know, I didn't read it to entertain myself. It was for my kids.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, the kids love it. I think I'm a bit grumpy like that when.
Yeah, they're a little bit whiny.
Yeah,
a little bit entitled. Yeah, I get that.
I just found them a little bit, but I mean, the kids love it. They've got all the books. They've watched all the films in it, and Dave's a bit of a critic. So if a film doesn't match the book, then he'll pick up on that, and it's like, that character should have been bigger in the film, or that character wasn't as me. I'm like, okay. Okay. Just basically using as many contacts as you can get, you know, using whatever contacts that you've got to try and get material.
Sure.
So there's 3 neighbors that are fully on board on giving me all their sort of waste. There's the guy next door to me, and then there's a couple of doors away. He'll give me their stuff, and then there's the lady next door to me as well, and she'll give me pretty much everything. So every time they sweep the garden and collect leaves, they're quite happy to just dump it in my garden, because they don't have to wait weeks for the council to come and take the bins, and you know, or they don't have to bag it up and take it somewhere. They can just dump it with me. And come springtime, I'll give them a few tomato plants or something, and that'll keep them happy. or give
And
them
one
a
thing that
call.
always puzzled me about the UK and chicken regulations is that you're not allowed to feed them food scraps. Is that right?
So that's the law. I don't know
Mhm.
how many people follow it.
Okay. But you're not going to advertise on your channel that you're
Yeah, yeah,
dumping scraps into your,
yeah. I'm not.
I'm
I
not,
don't
I'm
break the. I don't break the law, people. Just in case anyone wants to grass on me. Yeah, I don't break the law, everyone. I'm a law-abiding citizen, especially
well,
when it
we
comes
have
to
a,
chickens.
we have a 5-gallon bucket that we give
Yeah.
to, well, I know metric system, sorry, that we give to a local restaurant, a friend of ours. She fills it up for us. We go once a week and we just dump it in the yard. It's such a luxury. It's just cutting down on food, on the amount of feed, because the food prices have just skyrocketed.
Yeah.
I don't know what the prices are there, but for um, a fairly large bag of chicken feed, it's in the neighborhood of $25, which, with 25 chickens, it can get expensive. So it's nice to have those sources to cut down on food cost.
No,
Right.
absolutely. I mean, our prices for a 25 kilo bag, it's about of Lay's pellets. It's about £12 a bag now. A 25 kilo bag of corn is probably about £11. But that's gone up from when I started keeping chickens. I was buying bags for £4 and £5. So same size bags. The bags haven't
Right.
changed. In the space of about 8 years, 7 or 8 years, they've more than doubled in price.
Wow.
It's become really expensive, and I think the thing that's causing the issues as well is more people are keeping it on, keeping chickens as pets. Because more people are keeping chickens as pets, they can afford to put the price up and sell it as pet food rather than sell it as animal feed. And as a private individual, you can't go to where the farmers go and buy their stuff and buy 100 bags.
Right.
Yeah, so you don't get their discounts.
Right. Well, it's just it's always been curious to me. I mean, the reasoning, the rationale behind that. I know they're trying to keep the public safe from foodborne disease and things like that. I understand that, but it's for your sake, I wish they allowed a little bit more leniency on those kind of things. Right.
The thing is that this is one of the things, like there's a campaign going in the UK about letting domestic, people who keep it as a hobby farmers or hobby gardeners to have a bit of flexibility around those rules. I understand it around commercial sort of areas because the biggest issue is salmonella. I think it was in the late 80s, early 90s. Salmonella was a massive problem here, where people went off completely. They completely went off eating eggs for a while because salmonella was everywhere, and it was a really scary thing here for a time. And I think they became really strict after that. But also, have you heard of things like mad cow disease?
Oh, sure, of course.
Yeah. So we had mad cow disease in this country because people were grinding up cows and feeding it to other cows.
Yeah, that's wild. Yeah, I can imagine being a cow. Like,
yeah,
that's my sister. Yeah.
So
right.
so
Wow.
I mean, so they were grinding up dead animals and just feeding it to the cows. And yeah, so I understand why they've done it, because people get a little bit, they don't want waste.
Right. Well, I mean, we I live in it's the largest egg producing state in the United States, and so a bird flu is a big deal. So and it's always the backyard gardeners that get blamed. It's usually that the industry lays it in on us, all these people, these irresponsible backyard farmers. But but I'm anyway. I think it's just weird that I'm talking to you right now. I've been watching you for years. And isn't this weird? Like, okay, like, I know we're connected on Facebook and such, but it's fun to, feel like I'm like in an alternate universe.
See, I used to do this all the time, quite regularly last year, and I don't know why we stopped. Because what happened with StreamYard is that for some reason they blocked me from using StreamYard. So apparently I'd put in the wrong password or something silly like that, and I couldn't get the connection back in. So I stopped. And I'm not when you have a small glitch. I'm not I couldn't be bothered to try and fight with them to get my channel back. And I tried it a couple of weeks ago because I did an interview on here, and I tried it for that, and it miraculously worked. So somehow the block disappeared. I don't know. I was either typing in the wrong password or I was doing something wrong, and I figured out how to do it right.
One thing I wanted to share is that my family recently did the 23andMe things where you do your ancestry and all these, checking out your lineage.
Okay.
Right. And you'd be proud to know that I'm somewhere in the neighborhood 3 to 4% Yorkshire guy. So I feel like we have something in common there.
Have they put you? Have they done that much accuracy?
They can narrow it down to the section of London that you're from. I have a certain East London sort of part of me, Northern Ireland, just all over the place. But I'm basically spread out mostly over Europe and Eastern Europe as well too. But it's fun to know that. When I watch your channel, I think, okay, Liz, I'm just keeping in touch with my roots.
Yeah,
right?
I'm home.
So, right.
Yeah, that's probably it's the Yorkshire in you that probably drew you to the channel anyway.
Well, yeah, it's probably, but yeah, the frugal side of me, right? Yeah, I don't want to spend any money on chicken feed. I'm gonna go watch this Mothin guy, and he'll tell me.
That's exactly what Yorkshire's about. We've got short arms and deep pockets.
Yeah. That sounds familiar. That sounds like my family. Yes.
See, the hairstyle shows that we go to the same hairdressers.
Yeah. Right.
See, why do you think I wear the hat all the time?
Right. Yeah, I usually walk around with a beanie, so I get that. I understand it.
See, my nephews were here. My nephews were here.
You say it's religious, but we all know that it gets cold up there.
You see, my nephews were here earlier, and they were calling me Baldilocks and the three hairs.
That's awesome. That's funny.
3 to 4% Yorkshire. Someone mentioned something about Edwina Curry put people off eggs. Edwina Curry, she was some kind of, I don't know what her title was. It was when I was a kid, but she was a politician that did the salmonella scare in this country, and yeah, is because we had salmonella, and then she did the sort of some kind of campaign against salmonella. Everyone just went, completely off eggs, and we've had some quite serious outbreaks over here. So the salmonella thing was big. And then we had the mad cow disease. Then we had foot and mouth with the sheep.
Mm-hmm.
So they've tightened up a lot, and they've really tightened up. So oh, sorry, getting a random phone call. They can call back later. So what are your plans for this weekend? Well, the rest of the day you're gonna go and do some compost turning.
Yeah. I have 3 different piles going, and one of them is a kind of a slow pile. The other one's heated up, in the 45, 50 degree Celsius range. So I'll see if I can keep that going, and then I'm going to try to start another one and throw some more leaves around my chicken run. So I know it's about as exciting as it gets.
Do you know where you are? Do you get proper winters, or what do you get
seasonality. We get all 4 seasons to the extreme.
Okay.
Right now it's not so bad. It's hovering around 0, but that's typical for the winter. But I think regularly in January it's 15 to 20 below for the whole month.
Wow.
Yeah, it's brutal. So it's right in the American Midwest, the plains. So hot and humid in the summer, and then just extreme weather in the winter. So
see,
it's great for growing corn. I mean, that's what we do here, I guess. Just I wish they grew more things than just one, but that's what we do. So
is it all just open plains now, or is it
well, it's really a shame. At one point it was beautiful prairie. It was beautiful native prairie with 12, 15 foot deep roots and things like that. Right now it's down to about 1% of the landscape, and it's pretty much changed all the way over to farming. So the water quality suffers because of that. The diversity in the plant life and animals. We lost basically all of our wetlands and things like that, but there's a big push to bring a lot of that back, and but it's a beautiful state in some respects, in others it's like it would have been fun to see it 200 years ago, so
yeah, I can imagine.
Right.
See, someone's asking.
The question was Celsius or Fahrenheit. I've been saying this in Celsius just to keep it easy for you. Right. So I've watched enough of your channel that I just try to, I can translate my temperatures.
See, so. When people quote Fahrenheit to me, I get really confused.
Yeah.
They say it's like 100 degrees.
It makes no sense. It really makes no sense at all. Like 32 is freezing. Like that. Like only the English Empire could come up with something so brilliant.
But the thing is, it doesn't go. They don't change in sequence either. There's no corresponding sequence to match it to.
Right.
It's like it just doesn't make any sense. It's like
no.
When people say it's 100 degrees, I'm like, what?
Yeah.
100 degrees.
Boy, it's literally boiling. Yeah. Right.
So Swansea saying we get cold AF.
yeah, right.
See, it was cold today. I was out leafleting. We're having a storm at the minute. So we're in the middle of this storm. So I was out leafleting in the winds and the rain. That was fun. Yeah.
I've been meaning to tell you. I know you're big in the Green Party. I don't want to make this political discussion, but I was an elected official as a Green Party member back in the year 2000.
Okay.
I was elected to the kind of a local council of soil and water commissioner sort of thing.
Okay.
There wasn't much campaigning, so I want to stress that it's not as big of a deal as I make it sound. But I at the time I was a Green Party member pushing Ralph Nader for president at the time. Kind of fresh out of university, and I was idealistic and these sort of things. So I served, and I was listed as a Green Party member as this, and it was me and 4 other cattle ranchers on this panel, I was kind of out of place, but it was fun. It was Yeah.
But if you were involved in soil health and that sort of thing,
Mm-hmm.
you'd have seen some interesting things then.
Oh yeah, yeah. I didn't know what I was doing. I was 23. I didn't know what I was doing. Like it was far from my area of expertise. These guys have been farming for 40 years, and it's kind of stepping in on their domain. But I tried my best to it was things like terracing contracts and water conservation, water tables, and things I didn't really understand or appreciate. But I came at it from an environmental standpoint. I think they appreciated me being there. So
from the sort of things that you used to see then, do you see any difference now? Do you know when you're talking about water table levels? Do you see any difference in that now? Do you have any involvement in any of that?
Well, I mean, yeah, the fact that there's so many chemicals, driving through rural Iowa is, you can barely breathe as far as the, going through the, near the hog confinements and things like that, and massive chicken confinement areas and things like that. So as far as things changing, unfortunately, I think they're changing for the worse. We tend to have a very, I'm not blaming necessarily the leadership, but there's a lot of sort of laissez-faire attitude about soil and water. And this is especially it's considered to be some of the richest soil in the world, and treating it like it's another commodity is really unfortunate. But it's a precious resource, and they say we only have about 60 more years left of before it's mostly eroded. So I mean, there are things that people try to do conservation wise. The USDA, the Department of Agriculture, tries to incentivize people to save the soil and things like that. But but they're all, for the most part, these are Band-Aid structures, right? They're not going at it to completely change the system. This is corporate agriculture at its best or worst. Right? So
see. From over here, sometimes we forget how big America is, really, or you lose sort of perspective of how big it is, because we think we've got corporate farms over here, and mainly our big farms would be considered just something small over there, but we do need that sort of return back to, some sort of farming structure, farming fields, especially where there's an incorporation of crops as well as trees and a variety of different plants on the land, rather than just one plant being sprayed just to try and keep it from getting eaten by or destroyed.
Right. Green manure, there's a real big push for green manure, and there's a lot of incentives. That's a positive thing. When you talk about green manure, I use the words, cover crops.
Yeah.
That's what they say. But there's a big push to in no-till. There's far more farmers doing that these days rather than just digging up their fields every year. But yeah, I mean, the farms you see are enormous. The smallest farms are 800 acres. I don't know how that translates to hectares, but upwards of 800 acres to 2,000-3,000 acres for some of these things. And they have these machines that are worth more than my house, to plow these things. These combine harvesters and things, just ridiculous. And it's too bad. It's some of the richest farmland in the world, and they're treating it like it'll be here forever, right? But anyway,
it's because it's so freely available, or it feels so freely available.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, when land is just exploited and left like that.
Mm-hmm.
And some of the biggest tragedies in human history comes from crops failing.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, did you say you had some Irish heritage in you?
Yeah, quite a bit. Yeah.
So you just look at things like crop failures of the Irish potato famine. Or,
yeah, our family came over well after that, kind of the turn of the century. But yeah, it's still. I'm sure there's some there's probably some genetic memory inside of me that remembers the lean years, right? So
yeah. I mean, there's that, and then like in my heritage, there was the Bengal famine, where a typhoon and the rice crops failed, and then there was a typhoon that made things even worse. And when you have that sort of thing, the amount of people that you lose just because the land or a crop fails, what's going to happen if we can continue the way we are?
Right.
It's scary sometimes. So I mean that's why I mean we spend so much time trying to rebuild soil. What kind of soil do you normally have in your garden? What's the natural soil?
Oh, it's in my garden is pretty heavy clay. It was when I started, but the last couple of years I tend to practice no dig.
Yeah.
As much as I can. Every once in a while, I'll sort of, put a fork in the ground and just loosen it up a little bit. But for the most part, no dig, cover crops. Right now, I still have cover crops. I use cereal rye and things like that in the winter. So it's still pretty green back there, actually. But so all those roots just staying in the ground. I try to keep as many roots in the ground as possible to feed the worms and I use a lot of just leaf matter and leaf molds, a lot of compost, just kind of a lot of things that you do, just putting, wood chip. I had a good crop this year of wood chip potatoes. One of your favorites. Yeah. And largely inspired by you. But this year I did pull off a lot of the wood chips this fall, and I'm gonna reintroduce a lot more compost to that area and move my wood chip potato part of the yard.
Do you like? I keep meaning to do a film, some kind of video on it around my sort of crop rotation cycle. Now, what I normally do is I do a bed. So I've got my garden set up into 4 or 5 beds, and then I'll do one bed of just wood chip potatoes. So that's year one of my gardening year, and then I'll move the bed, move my potatoes to a different bed, and I'll do the same thing with wood chip potatoes. And so I've had 1 year of wood chips breaking down, and then I'll plant, big, thick, rooty plants, big, chunky plants, so courgettes, marrows, something that's not going to mind rough, textured soil, something that's, like a big, hearty plant. So marrows, courgettes, or zucchini, as you guys call them, bottle golds.
My brain already translated to zucchini. Okay. Watch you enough.
So I'll plant those kind of plants, that's not that's gonna do most of its growing above ground. Then it's not a need nice soil. And then you've had another year of wood chips breaking down, and now you might add a little bit of grass clippings, or you might add a bit of manure or something, and then go for some softer plants. So and that's generally the cycle I use. So by the time I've got to year 4 or year 5, the wood chip's broken down and it's just compost, and then I'm starting the cycle again.
That's smart. That's smart. I pretty much stuck with garlic and potatoes in those beds. I should probably think about switching those up.
I mean, I don't grow a lot of garlic in a wood chip bed until it's like 3-4 years down the line. Because one thing that I always find is, you get a lot of fungus or fungi growing in fresh wood chips, and sometimes garlic can get affected quite easily by that.
Like rust and.
No, the bulbs can just, the fungi can eat the garlic bulb.
Oh, okay, wow.
Things that in sort of year 1, year 2, I don't grow rooty type of crops. Well, I'm saying that as I'm talking about potatoes. Yeah, that's a bit of a contradiction there. I just realised.
Right.
I don't grow rooty type of crops except potatoes.
Except potatoes. But there's an excuse there. But it's one of those things you can't live without, right? So yeah. I can't live without potatoes.
Yeah, I mean, I found the wood chips just work so well. When you're growing in the ground like that, they just work absolutely fantastic.
Cool.
You know what? My wife's just come in and said I've gone past my time.
You have.
Yeah. So I normally finish at 9 o'clock, but we've gone over a little bit.
Right.
You're gonna have to do this again. We're gonna start doing this a bit more. So everyone else, get your makeup on and get ready with your. If you need a wig,
which is what I did today. I put it all. I went all out for you today.
Yeah. If you need to get dressed up or whatever you need to do, make sure you do it and you're ready to come up. But we're gonna be doing this at least once a month going forward.
Cool.
All right. But Phil, it's been really good speaking to you.
Pleasure. Yes. Thank you.
So I'm going to call it a night there. Thanks everyone for coming in. It's been great talking to everyone, and I'll see you again in the new year. Have a great new year, and I'll see you on the other side.
See ya.